Thunderstorms barged into the area with a handful of warnings. Those are all canceled now, but we'll see what activity awaits us this evening. Karen?
Also first at 4, the dog did it. We'll show you fire damage inside a local home and tell you why the residents are blaming the family pet. Paula.
Hi, so this used to be a parking lot. Right now it is TV Central. The stage is set for big politics. But will these candidates say what voters want to hear? And are they stumping in the places they want to be seen? These stories and more are happening right now on Local 4, first at 4.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, we've seen some thunderstorm warnings posted this afternoon. Rush hour could be tricky. So let's get right to Ben Bailey. He's tracking the latest in the radar. What are we seeing right now?
Well, Karen, we're going to get wet, no doubt about that. The question is, how strong will these thunderstorms be? And they have shown signs of weakening here over the last few hours or so. And you can see there's still some embedded heavy rain, definitely some lightning out there, but there are no warnings in effect. We had no reports of damage with any of these storms that went through. Closest ones were out in Jackson, where a tree fell on a house and some other trees and power lines down there. Temperatures still in the mid to upper 80s here on the east side, but look at what the rain has done here in our west zone. Low and mid 70s, much cooler out there in the western half of the area, but the humidity is still high, and it will be at least for the rest of tonight. So coming up, we'll look at when that relents and what the rest of the week holds. This may be the hottest that we have to get through the entire week. Your 7-day forecast is coming up. Karen.
All right, thank you, Ben. Sure looks like a dog may be to blame for a fire over in Hamburg Township. A homeowner called 911 after seeing flames on her home security system. She told firefighters she left food on her stove, and one of the dogs turned the stove on when it jumped up to reach that food. Well, that food caught fire, leaving this mess behind. Firefighters reminding homeowners to not leave anything flammable unattended on the stove. City of Southfield has a new police chief. This morning, the city swore in Alvin Barron. For the past 21 years, Barron worked with the Detroit Police Department and was Detroit's deputy chief. He's replacing former Southfield chief Eric Hawkins, who took a job over in New York. Detroit Police Chief James Craig was in Southfield to celebrate his former deputy's new job. Drivers beware. Michigan State troopers are targeting the lodge again with a safety crackdown. Troopers are keeping a close eye from downtown to 8 Mile. Last week, troopers made a total of 165 stops on a section that was recently renamed the Aretha Franklin Memorial Highway. 78 of those stops were for speeding, including one driver going 97 miles an hour. The expanded crackdown is today and tomorrow. President Trump is adding his voice to those expressing sadness and outrage over a shooting at a California food festival where 3 people were killed and a dozen wounded before police killed the gunman.
While families were spending time together at a local festival, a wicked murderer opened fire and killed 3 innocent citizens, including a young child. We grieve for their families, and we ask that God will comfort them with His overflowing mercy and grace.
Survivors and witnesses are now telling their stories of that tragic event. Kimberly Gill live in the newsroom with the very latest. Kim.
Hi, Karen. Good afternoon. The Gilroy Garlic Festival in Northern California is one of the biggest food festivals in the country. It was crowded and festive late Sunday afternoon when at about 5:30 local time, shots were fired and panic spread. Police say a man with a rifle cut through a fence to avoid police at the gates and started firing at random. Terrified festival goers ran to escape and ducked for cover as victims started to fall. One of the 3 shot and killed was 6-year-old Stephen Romero. Late today, we learned the other names were a 13-year-old girl and a man in his early 20s. The wounded rushed to area hospitals. Witnesses are struggling to cope with what they saw.
Then someone behind me in her area said, "Active shooter, run." And I stood there for a little while because I didn't know, I wasn't processing. And then the shots got closer.
And we both turned and we saw him standing there, and he was reloading his gun. He had it like towards the ground. He was putting like another magazine into it. And all of a sudden he just opened fire and just started walking towards our booth, and me and my sister ran. We just ran the opposite direction of where he was coming from.
Within 1 minute of the first report of gunfire, police say they confronted the gunman, exchanged shots, and killed him. Police say the suspected gunman was 19 years old, a Gilroy resident who legally purchased the assault rifle that he used. Right now, they cannot say what his motive might have been. Karen, Just another heartbreaking story. We'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Kim. The Rev Al Sharpton has joined a heated debate over racism, politics, and poverty in the city of Baltimore. It started with President Trump tweeting attacks on Maryland Congressman Elijah Cummings and conditions in his home district, which includes Baltimore. The president also criticized Rev Sharpton, who fought back today.
The fact of the matter is, Elijah Cummings' district is the most well-educated and middle-class aspiring district of blacks in this country.
Cummings happens to be the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, which is in charge of investigations surrounding the Trump White House. The administration is defending the president's viewpoint.
If I had poverty in my district like they have in Baltimore, and I spent all of my time in Washington, D.C. chasing down this Mueller investigation, this bizarre impeachment crusade, I'd get fired.
Some residents of Baltimore telling NBC their city does need help, but they found the president's comments insensitive and incomplete, saying the city's diversity is its strength. The white-hot national spotlight is focused on Detroit this week. 2020 presidential candidates are seeking to break out from the pack on our own home turf. CNN hosts 2 debates with these 10 candidates facing off tomorrow, including Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. Wednesday night, we have another 10 candidates, including Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. For the latest, let's get live to Paula Tutman. She's outside the Fox, and you've been talking to voters. What do they have to say about Detroit being on the national scene?
They have a lot to say, but first, just kind of let me show you the lay of the land. As you can see, there's the Fox parking lot is turned into TV Central right there. A lot goes in to putting this debate together, but also candidates are streaming into town, stumping ahead of the debates, and voters are asking whether or not they're really focusing and going into the places where they can support them. A key reason to stump in Detroit is that even though Dana is interested in the outcome of a presidential election, she had no idea who Kamala Harris was.
I did say, who is that? And you said that she was running for president.
But lo and behold, at Narrowway Coffee Cafe, that's who walked in.
Oh, I don't have my wallet. I need my wallet.
Ordered $35 worth of coffee and tea products.
Iced tea? Yes, ma'am.
And then tried to escape the media enough to talk to the few patrons who were surprised to see her.
Well, I asked her what, if she became the next president, what she would do to kind of heal some of the hurt that's happened in our country as a result of some of the comments from our current president.
The Democratic candidates have been canvassing Detroit all weekend.
Will you reach out to a friend who's not been part of the process and tell them we need your help not just to support this campaign but to shape it?
Bernie Sanders took it international for a bus trip to Windsor to highlight the low points of high prescription drug prices.
3 major drug companies who produce insulin, who control 90% of the market.
In fact, 9 of the 24 Democratic candidates had stage time last week at the NAACP convention's Candidates Forum. But what voters on 7 Mile want to know is, did they get their camera time and leave, or did they spend some time talking to voters in those electorate-rich nooks and crannies of the city? How are you finding Detroit, Senator?
I love Detroit. I love Detroit. Tell me about this neighborhood.
This used to be called Avenue of Fashion.
CNN political anchors and their pundits are in high gear prepping for the 2 nights of debates at the Fox. In a state that Donald Trump won by a mere 11,000 votes.
So it's important to me and to I think Michigan that Democrats really put their feet on the ground and really step up and get out into the neighborhoods and interact and hear the concerns of their constituents here in Michigan, because Michigan could be a tight race for them come the 2020 election time.
This sets the stage, but those who understand politics say it is now up to the candidates to perform at a level to cut through the noise and reach through the seemingly iron bubble of partisan politics, race, and distractions.
And it's going to be done door to door. It's going to be done neighbor to neighbor.
So the burden of the onus for these candidates is to get voters like Dana to simply know who the heck they are and to know that they are speaking to them. So stay with us at 5 o'clock. Some brand new topics on the minds of voters, not just taxes and tariffs, but togetherness. And I'll explain coming up at 5.
All right, we look forward to that. We'll see you at 5, Paula. We hope you'll join Devin and Kimberly for our special coverage of this very important event. They will report live from the Fox Theater tomorrow and Wednesday. Big coverage on Local 4 and Click on Detroit. Still ahead, more of us are having food delivered these days. Did you ever wonder if the delivery person just might sample some of your meal? Wait to hear what a new survey reveals. Also ahead, Canadian residents are told to stay inside with their doors locked. We're tracking a manhunt for murder suspects. And we've had ups and downs waiting for monarch butterflies to emerge here at Local 4. You will see a big moment caught on camera at the end of this half hour. But first, we want to remind you Ben Bailey is watching the radar in case more storms develop. We'll take another look in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
Number 1 at 4, 5, 6, and 11. Metro Detroit's #1 news website, Local 4 and Click on Detroit.